I was managing a high-end cheese shop in Paris when an American couple came in. They asked for a sample of cheddar. I offered them a superb English farmhouse cheddar. The man tasted it and made a face. "This isn't right," he said. "It's not even orange." I explained that authentic cheddar isn't dyed. He then argued, "But the orange color is how you know it's sharp. It's part of the cheese-making process. You're selling a defective product. We get real bright orange cheddar in Wisconsin, and they know how to make cheese. This is just bland and pale." His logic was that the artificial food coloring was a sign of quality and authenticity. My American friend came to visit me in Berlin and was fascinated by the Autobahn. He rented a car specifically to drive on it. Later, he was furious. "This whole thing is a scam," he yelled. I asked what was wrong. "It's supposed to be no speed limit, but people kept moving out of the left lane when I was coming up behind them. It's like they were scared. In America, you own your lane. If someone wants to go faster, they can go around. It's about freedom. Here, you're all forced to conform to the fastest driver. It's basically automotive socialism." I worked at a hotel in Kyoto during cherry blossom season. An American guest called the front desk in a panic. My family and I paid a lot of money to see the blossoms. "But it's windy today and the petals are falling off the trees. Can you please have your maintenance staff reattach them or turn off the wind? We only have one day here. In Disney World, the flowers are always perfect. You guys need better quality control for your main tourist attraction." He genuinely believed the natural phenomenon could be, and should be, manually controlled for his convenience. During a university lecture in the UK on the Roman Empire, an American student raised his hand. "This is all interesting," he began, "but I don't see how it's relevant. We defeated the British, who were basically the successors to the Romans. So, didn't we technically absorb all this history? American history is the only one that really matters now because we're the ones in charge. Studying all these fallen empires is like studying failed businesses. We should be studying the winners." The professor was speechless. An American tourist in a cafe in Vienna ordered a coffee. When the bill came, he was confused. "Why am I being charged for water? I didn't order it." I explained that in many European cities, bottled water is standard, unless you specifically ask for tap water. He slammed his hand on the table. "That's a racket. Water is a God-given right. In the US, water is free everywhere because we are a free country. Charging for water is the first sign of tyranny. You guys are clearly not as free as you think you are." My company transferred an executive from our Dallas office to our headquarters in Copenhagen. After his first week, he called a meeting. "I've noticed nobody is at their desk past 500 p.m. and the office is a ghost town on weekends. This lack of hustle is concerning. We're not going to beat the competition by working less. From now on, I expect everyone to be available by email until at least 900 p.m. A 40-hour work week is a baseline, not a goal. We need to adopt an American work ethic if we want to see American-style success." He couldn't grasp that productivity and long hours weren't the same thing. I was guiding a snorkeling tour on the Great Barrier Reef. An American woman seemed disappointed after the tour. I asked if everything was okay. She said it was pretty, but why were all the fish mixed up? It was so chaotic. At the aquarium in Atlanta, they have the clownfish in one tank and the angelfish in another. It's much more organized and easier to see them. You should have sections for each type of fish. It would be a much better and more logical viewing experience for the customers. She wanted us to organize the wild ecosystem of the reef. An American was visiting his girlfriend's family in rural Quebec, Canada. At dinner, he loudly proclaimed, "I don't get why you all bother learning French. It's a dying language. Everyone in the world is learning English to do business with us. You should just make the whole country English-speaking. It would be way more efficient, and you'd be able to integrate your economy so much better with ours. You're holding yourselves back by clinging to a language that doesn't matter on the global stage." He said this in English to a table of proud native French speakers. I overheard a conversation in a pub in Dublin. An American was telling his Irish friends, "You guys should really celebrate St. Patrick's Day properly. Back in Chicago, we dye the whole river green. We have massive parades. green beer, everything. Here, it just seems like a regular holiday. You guys invented it, but we perfected it. You should take some notes from us on how to celebrate your own culture. It's like you don't even know how to have fun with it. He was lecturing Irish people in Ireland on how to be more Irish. An American tourist in Thailand was complaining about the food. I asked for pad thai, no peanuts because I have an allergy. They made it for me, but I can't eat it. I asked why. Because the whole kitchen probably has peanut dust everywhere. In America, we have allergy-safe kitchens. A restaurant would have a separate area just for my food. It's a basic safety regulation. Their logic here is just we won't put it in the dish. That's not good enough. They don't understand how serious allergies are. He expected a small street food stall to have the protocols of a multi-million-dollar U.S. restaurant chain. At the pyramids in Giza, an American tourist who claimed to be an engineer was loudly explaining to his family, "This whole thing is impressive for its time. I guess, but so inefficient. The amount of manpower wasted is insane. They should have just used cranes and modern earth movers. They could have built 10 of these in the time it took to build one. It's a classic case of poor project management. No wonder their civilization collapsed." He was critiquing ancient construction methods against 21st century technology. I was working in a bookstore in London when an American came to the counter with a copy of 1984. He asked, "Do you have this book in American?" I started reading it, but all the words are weird. Like Laurie and Flat, it's very distracting. The publisher should really make a translated version for the U.S. market. It would sell so much better if it was written in proper English. He was completely serious about needing an American translation of an English-language book. An American on a tour of the Vatican asked the guide, "So, the Pope is like the CEO of the Catholic Church, right? What's his salary? And does he get stock options? It must be a pretty sweet gig. But I bet the board of directors is a nightmare to deal with." He was trying to apply a corporate business model to a 1,000-year-old religious institution, seemed genuinely confused by the lack of a clear profit motive. My cousin from California visited me in Amsterdam. He was baffled by the number of bicycles. "This is a nice hobby for people," he said, "but it's not a real transportation system. How do you move a couch? How do you go to Costco? It's completely impractical. A city's success is measured by its freeways and parking lots. This whole setup is logically flawed for a modern economy." He saw the bikes not as a solution, but as a sign of a city that hadn't figured out real transport yet. In a small Italian village, an American tourist was trying to order a latte and was furious when the barista handed him a glass of steamed milk. "No, a latte," he shouted, pointing at a picture of a coffee drink on his phone. The barista tried to explain that latte means milk in Italian. The American shot back, "Then why does Starbucks call it a latte? They're an international company. They set the standard. You guys are using the word wrong in your own country. You need to get with the program." An American exchange student in my history class in Sweden insisted that the Vikings were not as tough as Navy SEALs. "Sure, they sailed in long boats," he argued, "but a single SEAL team with modern equipment could have taken out their entire army. It's not a fair comparison. American military power is the logical endpoint of all warrior cultures. So we are technically the modern-day Vikings, just way better." He saw history as a linear progression culminating in American dominance. I was on a train from Prague to Budapest and sat next to an American. He was looking at a map and seemed stressed. He asked me, "So when we cross the border from the Czech Republic into Hungary, do I need to change my watch? Like, are they on a different kind of time? I know Europe has different time zones, but I wasn't sure if the minutes were also different. In the US, the minutes are the same everywhere, which is a much more logical system." A tourist at the Great Wall of China was overheard saying to his wife, "It's big." But what was the point? They didn't even finish it. There are huge gaps everywhere, and it didn't even work. The Mongols just went around. This is a classic example of a government project that went way over budget and failed to meet its objectives. In America, we would have built it faster, higher. and probably with some nice observation decks and gift shops along the way. An American manager at my tech company in India was frustrated with the team. Why does everyone say yes to a deadline they know they can't meet? He complained. It's illogical. In America, you push back. You negotiate. Here, everyone is just too polite to say no, and then we fail. They need to learn to be more direct and confrontational. It's a more honest and efficient way to do business. He couldn't see it as a cultural difference in communication, only as a logical flaw in their character. While visiting a traditional onsen hot spring in Japan, an American loudly refused to get in. I'm not getting in there without my swim trunks. It's unsanitary and indecent. What if there are germs? In America, our public pools have strict rules about swimwear for hygiene reasons. It's just common sense. This whole naked thing is a lawsuit waiting to happen. He was trying to apply American public pool logic to a centuries-old cultural bathing ritual. An American in a Scottish whiskey distillery asked the tour guide, "Why do you age it for so long, 18 years? That's a terrible business model. Think of the lost revenue. You could sell it after 1 year and make money so much faster. Jack Daniels in Tennessee has it figured out. They don't wait around. It's about maximizing profit per barrel. This is just sentimental and inefficient." I met an American backpacker in Peru who was complaining about the currency. "The sol is so annoying. The exchange rate is like 3.7 to the dollar. Why don't they just round it up to 4? Or better yet, just use the US dollar. It would make it so much easier for tourists to calculate prices and would probably stabilize their whole economy. It's the logical thing to do." An American tourist at Stonehenge looked at the ancient monument, then at his phone, and then back at the monument. He then asked a staff member, "Is the Wi-Fi password posted somewhere? I want to FaceTime my mom to show her this. But I have no signal." You'd think a major historical site like this would have free public Wi-Fi. It's a basic amenity. How do they expect people to share their experience on social media? My American boss was reviewing a report I wrote. I'm from Ireland. He said, "This is good, but you need to fix the spelling. Words like color and favor are wrong. Run it through a US English spell check before you send it out. We're a global company, so we need to use the main correct version of English, not the regional dialects." His logic was that the original version of the language was a regional dialect. In a market in Seoul, South Korea, an American was trying to buy a souvenir. He took out his phone's calculator and said to the vendor, "Okay, your price is 20,000 won. After taxes, that should be around 21,600 won, right?" The vendor looked confused. The American explained, "Sales tax. In the US, the price on the tag isn't the final price. It's a much more transparent system because you see where your tax money is going." He couldn't comprehend that in most countries the listed price includes all taxes. An American tourist on a safari in Kenya was disappointed. "We've been driving for an hour and I've only seen some zebras and a giraffe. Where are the lions and tigers at the San Diego Zoo? They have all the animals in one place. It's much more efficient for viewing. You guys should round them all up and put them in a big park so people can see them without having to drive all over the place." I was working at a pub in Australia when an American ordered a beer. I served it to him with about an inch of foam on top. He pushed it back. "Whoa. Fill it up all the way? I'm not paying for foam." In the States, a bartender who serves a beer like this would get fired. It's basic math. The foam takes up space where there should be beer. "You're ripping me off." He didn't understand that the head is a desired part of the beer pour in many cultures. An American in Iceland was looking at a geothermal power plant. He said, "This is clever using the volcanoes for power, but isn't it dangerous? What if it erupts?" In America, we build our power plants in safe, remote areas. It's just a logical safety precaution. Relying on a volcano for your electricity seems like a fundamentally flawed idea. My American roommate was baffled by my electric kettle. "Why do you have a specific machine just for boiling water?" she asked. "It's so redundant. In my house, we just put a mug of water in the microwave for a minute. It's faster, and you don't need a whole separate appliance taking up counter space. It's a much more logical and space-efficient solution. A tourist in Florence was staring at Michelangelo's David. He turned to his friend and said, "It's impressive, but he got the anatomy wrong. He's not circumcised. Everyone knows the biblical King David was Jewish. It's a major historical inaccuracy. You'd think a master artist would do his research. It kind of ruins the whole piece when you realize it's logically inconsistent." An American was complaining about the metro system in Paris. The doors close way too fast. There's no sensor or anything. In America, our elevator doors stay open if something is in the way. It's a basic safety feature. It's like they want people to get hurt. This whole system is a lawsuit waiting to happen. It's just illogical design. I was at a cafe in Helsinki, Finland, where people leave their babies in strollers outside to nap in the cold. An American tourist was horrified and about to call the police. A local explained, "It's a normal cultural practice." The American replied, "That's insane. What if someone kidnaps them?" It's a complete failure of parental logic. In America, you'd go to jail for that. Your culture is just wrong on this one. An American on a business trip in China was frustrated with the Great Firewall. "I don't get it," he said. "Why would a government block websites? It's totally counterproductive. The free flow of information is what drives innovation and a strong economy. It's a logically flawed strategy for any country that wants to be a global superpower. They're just shooting themselves in the foot." He said this with no sense of irony about his own country's complex political landscape.